Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you the 5 lessons that I have learned in the 5 years that I have been a Muslim convert, which is so crazy to me to say because today, November 21st, 5 years ago, I converted to Islam. Like, that's half a decade. That's so wild to even think about. So 5 years ago at Friday Jannah, I said my Shahada. And if you want to see that video, it's so embarrassing for me, I feel, but I will link it in the description box down below and you can listen to me butcher the Arabic language. So there you go. You're welcome. Okay, so like I said, today's video I'm going to be talking about the 5 lessons that I have learned in the 5 years that I've been a Muslim convert. I have learned probably so many different lessons, but these are like the 5 overall, I think, most important lessons that I've learned that really apply to like so many different parts of my life in general anyways. Okay. So let's get started. Lesson number 1, take it slow. I don't know how many times I've probably told people this or told myself this throughout the years. I should have told myself this more often in the beginning, because when I first converted, I just like dove head first and like was on this high of spirituality and just went a little bit crazy. And things get overwhelming. You know, when you take things too fast, you're not going at your own pace, you're not allowing like your heart to make those decisions with sound knowledge, you're just kind of like emotionally making decisions. And what happens is you often fall back from that. So I'm not just saying like take it slow in the beginning, I'm saying like take it slow in general. So focus on your love for God and your heart will soften, and then you will slowly make small decisions just because your heart is already in that place. If you choose to make those decisions before your heart is there or before you have that knowledge, then often what happens is like you start to resent the decision or you start to question the decision and you actually take a couple steps back. But start with the love of God, start with the love for the prophets, learn about them and you'll love them, and then those decisions become so much easier, and often you stick and hold on to those decisions because you have such a better base. You know, you make decisions because of your love for God. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get so focused on the do's and don'ts and the rulings and all of that. You know, when Islam was first introduced to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the rulings did not even come within a few years or many years. And so when he started to practice, his main focus was on his love and relationship with God. So start from there, take it slow, and then with every decision following, your heart will lead you in that direction if it's in the right place. Islam is a lifelong journey. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. So my number 1 tip is like, do not rush. Do not rush. All right, so lesson number 2, be easy on your family. Be easy on your family, have respect for them, have respect for their values, their beliefs, even if it is different than yours. This is your family. So you're going through a major change and it may seem easy to you, but just remember your family has only known you a certain way for their whole life. They raised you in a specific way. And then you turn around and you're like, I'm gonna do something different. Thanks though. Like it somewhat can be a slap in the face, especially because parents put so much time and effort into their children. It may seem to them as though you just A, did not appreciate all of their efforts, or B, you just didn't think it was good enough. Just because you decided to convert, you cannot expect them to all of a sudden uproot their whole life and do things differently for their lives as well. They didn't take that decision, you did. So be easy on them. You can't come into their homes and demand them to make all these changes and be disrespectful. The best thing that I could say is lead by example. Most people do not accept being preached at very well. Often what changes people's opinions about things or allows them to understand somebody better is through that person's actions. show them that Islam makes you better in every single way. So I'll share something a little bit personal with you guys. When I first converted, I went a little bit crazy. I was always kind of telling my parents, oh well, I can't do things this way, I have to eat things this way, and it did not make them accept Islam at all, really. I was gonna say any faster, but really not at all. I made things hard on them. I implemented rulings on them because that's what I thought was right, and that's the way that I was leading my life. So I figured, you know, I should also share those rulings with them, and that was not a good idea. The time that I started to realize that my family really started to accept Islam, accept myself, was when my parents met my husband and my husband's family. My husband and my husband's family are, mashallah, very knowledgeable, very practicing, amazing people, but they are easy and they're soft and they're welcoming and they're not judgmental. My parents saw this and they saw how many amazing qualities that my in-laws and my family have. And so my parents like really started to see how beautiful Islam is. And slowly but surely over time, I was able to see that my parents were accepting Islam more and more and more, which is, alhamdulillah, it's pretty wild to see. But yeah, so I would just say you have to realize how impactful your actions are on people. Have lenience, find a balance, and be good to your parents. Lesson number 3. Community. Man, I cannot stress this enough. I even have like a whole video on a speech that I did at an event talking about the importance of community. If you want to check that out, I will link it in the cards above. But I think community is super key, not just for converts, for even Muslims that are moving to the city, anything like that. You need a sense of belonging. Often when you don't get that, what comes with that is loneliness. Not a great feeling. Nobody wants to feel lonely. People want to feel like they belong. In saying that, you have to make an effort to put yourself out there. I know a lot of converts that said that before they were, you know, submerged within the community, that they were living a very lonely life. And that can be very hard. You have to be so strong to be in that position, especially as a new convert. So my key point about community is to put yourself out there and make connections, get involved, be a part of committees, go to events, go to fundraisers, anything like this. Put yourself out there and put yourself out of your comfort zone. It's very uncomfortable to meet new people, but it's worth it, trust me. So kind of falling under community is your friends. Surround yourself by like-minded people. Surround yourself by people that will influence you in the best of ways. You don't have to leave all your friends behind because I'm sure you had great friends before, but just ensure that they're impacting you in the best of ways, just like you should be impacting them in the best of ways. Just surround yourself by good people, by people that will push you, encourage you, support you. Good friends ultimately should make you better, and you should do the same for them. My third lesson kind of extends into another part that kind of falls under community, but it is joining a halaqah or an usra. And this is not just for Muslim converts, this is for Muslims in general. I believe that you should be endlessly learning about Islam. There are so many levels of Islam to learn about. There's so much depth to it. And to do this, you want to learn in the correct way. The internet is not going to be that way. There's so many extreme whack views on the internet. You have no idea who's writing it. If you can become a part of a closed group, you can form these very strong bonds with the members of the group as well. And sometimes the bond that you have within a halaqah and halaqah members can carry you through like really difficult times as well. Because a halaqah group or an usra should become like a safe group for you, a place where you can speak openly, talk about all sorts of different things, and learn about the right knowledge as well. The teachings should be strictly Islam, not cultural. So there is often a lot of confusion between the two and a lot of intertwining, but with halaqah and usra, you're really getting that Islamic knowledge. For myself, I have been in a halaqah for, oh my god, 3.5 years. That's crazy. So I've been with the same group of girls for 3.5 years. When you learn and you grow together, that forms such a special bond. And I have learned more from that group than anything else. Just in general, let me just sum up, because that was a really big lesson. Community, putting yourself out there, make yourself vulnerable and make connections. It will be super worth it. Surrounding yourself with good friends that push you to be better, and you should push them to be better as well. And then also becoming a part of a halaqah or an usra to learn the proper knowledge of Islam, and also form those like really deep connections within the group itself. That kind of just all falls under community, I guess, for me, and relationships and bonding. That sense of belonging is really, really key. So yeah. Lesson number 4, have trust and faith in God. This is something that you have to develop as a Muslim. You have to. And the reason why I say you have to is because the contentness, I don't even know if that's a word, to be honest. We're going with it. The contentness in your heart is like nothing else when you have faith in God. You can literally be faced with anything. And if you have trust in Allah, if you have faith in God, that whatever you are faced with, it will be okay because this is from God. The amount of peace in your heart is like nothing you'll ever feel. Like when you have that, you're set. You can do anything. It is definitely a skill. It is a skill that you have to work on. It is a skill that you have to grow and be focused on. But when you obtain it and it just continues to grow more and more, your life becomes drastically different. Every tragedy, every test, every success, failure, points of happiness in life is from God. You have to understand that God has a plan for you, that God is the best of planners. You often need to go through certain things to be heightened to the level that God is ultimately trying to get you to. He loves you. He's trying to make you better in whatever way. Whether the result is for this life or it's for the hereafter, He's trying to get you to that level. If you look at it from a perspective of love, it can change your whole outlook on a situation. Now, it is obviously easier said than done. I can sit here and be like, yo, I can face anything, but when I'm faced with it, am I gonna feel the same way? If you're not sure, that's something that you have to work on as well. Like, your trust in God might even be the test. He might just test you with how much trust you're gonna have in Him. So the test is to show you that He's got you, that He's in control. When we feel out of control, knowing that God is in control, so that will give you ultimate security. We know that God will never ever test you with more than you can handle. It may feel like you won't be able to handle it, but you will. You will. You just have to trust Him. And you have to trust yourself that you can get through it, because God wouldn't put you in a situation that you wouldn't be able to. On the flip side of that, you have to know that when things are good and going great, that it is because God has given that to you. So show gratitude, be appreciative, know the source of why everything is happening in your life. When you approach situations with faith in your heart, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter the result, this is what is going to be best for you. When you have that faith in your heart, that's like a whole new way of living. That will open up doors for you that you could never have imagined mentally as well. No stress, no drama, just complete contentness, if that's a word. Just being completely content in your life, in your heart, in your relationship with God. That's like nothing else. Okay, final lesson. Lesson number 5. You can still be you. As a convert, you do not need to feel like you have to abandon your culture. This isn't right. And don't let anyone tell you this either. You can be Muslim and still be you. You carry this whole life and memories forward with you, even when you convert to Islam. When you convert to Islam, and say your shahada, you become a baby, you're fresh, like no sins, nothing, everything gets wiped. But that doesn't mean that your whole life also gets wiped. Don't feel like you have to abandon yourself and your culture just because you become Muslim. You can still cook whatever food you want to. You don't need to cook like Arab food. Cook your own cultural food. Keep your name. Hold on to your lineage. I'll share something personal. I decided to keep my name, not just my first name, but my last name, because holding on to my father's lineage is a really big thing for me. In Islam, that's encouraged to hold on to your father's lineage, as women especially. And just because I'm a convert doesn't mean that I shouldn't do that. You know, I want to hold on to my lineage and where I come from because I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my lineage, and I'm proud of the fact that I converted. That's a big thing for me. I don't think that anyone should tell you otherwise. I don't think that you should feel as though you have to make all these changes. I think you should just be you. I think it can become very scary if you feel like you can't be yourself and be Muslim, because your whole identity is changing, but it should be changing for the better. It should just be evolving. It shouldn't be erasing. So ultimately, be you. You know, obviously focus on the core values of Islam and make sure that past ways are not contradicting with the core values of Islam, but otherwise, hold on to your lineage, hold on to your culture. Don't let other people make you feel bad because of it. Islam is a religion for everybody. So, I feel like I've talked enough. Those are my 5 lessons that I have learned in the past 5 years of being Muslim. I make videos all about Islam, hijab, a little bit of modest fashion, a little bit of nursing as well, because that is my career. So don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you have any other helpful tips or lessons that just can help any of us get through the day-to-day life of being Muslim. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.